And now we have today, our workshop is Nancy Simmons Roberson, and she's going to be giving online libraries, FamilySearch, Internet Archives, and Google. But I wanted to just comment on her past history. She's really enjoyed doing genealogy, but she started out as a Michigan native, and she's now our transplanted Kentuckian. And she has a BA degree in education and did graduate work at the Michigan State University. She's a teacher, a coach, athletic director at Bath County Community in Bath, Michigan. And she has over 40 years of genealogical research experience, and she specializes in the Midwest and New England. She was our president in 2020, and she was our previous president for a couple other years. But we have enjoyed having her for all these times, and she's been doing genealogical classes for the last 12 years in organization and research. We really appreciate all of her help. But she's also a member of the Detroit Society for Genealogical Research, First Families of Ohio, the John Marshall DAR chapter, and the Kentucky Mayflower Society. Nancy, we welcome you.
Thank you, Betty. Let me take just a few seconds to share my screen. While I'm doing this, if you would mute all your microphones and also stop your videos, it will make my program go a little bit smoother. Let's see here, I'm going to LGS today. Again, I just want to remind you to turn off your microphones and stop your videos. That will help the program go a little bit smoother, and hopefully my PowerPoint's going to go smooth and we'll all be doing well here. I will be presenting online libraries and resources for genealogical research. This past year, LGS has had several librarians from libraries come in and share their genealogical collections in their libraries. And all of them have made a point to tell us that they have extended their digital collections and that they're constantly adding to them. If you were not here to hear some of those presentations, I strongly recommend that you go to our website, log in as a member. On the left side is a menu bar, and you want to select documents. And then when you select documents, you'll go into another menu where you'll select LGS program videos. And all our videos from this year are listed there. So if you've missed any of these from, let me name them off. We had Kurt Richer here very early in the year from Allen County Public Library, Ashley Ramey from the Library of Virginia, James Beidler from the Pennsylvania State Library and Archives spoke to us. And just recently, we had Joe Hardesty from the SAR Library. Each one of those presentations shared what their genealogy collections were, how to access them, and a little bit about their digital collections. So today, we are going to explore online libraries, how you can access these libraries at home. So my goal for today is, why would you use an online library as a genealogist? Okay, we do love to touch our books. We love going to libraries, but why would you want to stay home and access and have the ability to access libraries online? What are the best online libraries? We're going to talk about that. What's the focus of those online libraries? And then how do you access and use those websites, those online libraries? Hopefully today you'll establish a few more tools to put in your research toolbox to help you research. As you look back on your ancestors, hopefully today I'll give you some tools that will add some depth and quality to your research. As a genealogist myself, I love looking at bibliographies or reference notes at the end of a book, a record collection, or an article that I'm reading, maybe in a journal. on genealogy. I like to go see what they used, and is there anything in that list that I might be able to use to further my research. Recently, I was on a new website for the Cincinnati Society. Beautiful new website they just put up. And I went to the page on the Connecticut state. And on that site, they talk about what you have to do to become, to apply for the Connecticut Cincinnati Society, because you have to have a Revolutionary War patriot, but he has to have been an officer in the Continental Line. And so they gave a whole page of references that you could use to find these ancestors and prove service. Well, my husband and I both have Connecticut patriots or Connecticut ancestors, and several of them are patriots. And so I thought, well, this list might help me out in my research. And so I pulled up, well, this is looking back on your research, and hopefully I'm going to bring you some tools here. I didn't advance my slide. So anyways, two of the references I pulled off this Connecticut Cincinnati site were these two. I thought this might be helpful. Here are two books I might want to look at. The List and Returns of Connecticut Men in the Revolution by Albert Bates. And another one, there was a long list. This is just the two I pulled off. Prisoners of War, British and American by Worthington Chauncey Ford. So I thought, okay, I'm going to see if I can find these books. Now, right away, I could probably run down to the local or the main library for the Louisville Free Public Library System, or I could go to the Filson Historical Society, or I could go down to what's lovely in Louisville. We have the national headquarters for the SAR, and pull this book off of a shelf maybe. I'm pretty sure I'd probably find it at the SAR library. But how can I find it sitting at home? So the first go-to place when I want to look for a book, really even when I'm stuck on ancestors to the end of a brick wall, where do I go? I go to Google. I throw those names in with their birth and death date if I have it. Or in this case, I throw the name of the book in. So here we're going to throw in the name of this book, List and Returns of Connecticut Men in the Revolution, 1775 to 1783. And we're going to see what Google tells us to do. So right away, Google's telling us, yeah, we've got this book. There's a whole list of places this book can be found. And they usually list them in relevance, most important ones at the top. So I was surprised to see that the very first one's listed in Worldcat. Well, I shouldn't be surprised. Worldcat is a world catalog for libraries all across the United States and several other countries. And we're going to talk about Worldcat in a minute here. The next one kind of surprised me. It was FamilySearch. Sends me to FamilySearch digital books. We're going to go there today. And the third one was Google Books. Now, about the fifth or sixth one was Ancestry. And it could be because that's a paid subscription. And you have to have a subscription to access the book there, but it was also there. So we're going to take a look right now at Worldcat and see what Worldcat's about. Now, this is a catalog of books that are on the shelves in libraries all across our country. It says here 72,000 libraries collections. That's a lot of books. And you'll find that as you research and find digital libraries that it's not just books they're digitizing or putting in their catalogs, they're also expanding to other media. So you'll find not only books, but DVDs, CDs, and articles from journals. So Worldcat, I plugged in our list of men from Connecticut that fought in the Revolution, and Worldcat's going to tell me the closest library that I can find that book in. And what's really important is public libraries have this service called interlibrary loan. So if there is a book out there that isn't printed and published and distributed all over, it's very select, it might only be in 2 or 3 libraries. Hopefully you'll find one that participates in this interlibrary loan, and you can go to your own local public library and they will help you set up the procedure to try and borrow that book. And the book will be sent to your local library. Sometimes you have to use it in the library, sometimes it's overnight, depends on the library system. But the interlibrary loan is really a great service. Now, private libraries usually don't participate in this, okay? So then you're going to have to actually go to the library. So let's go to Worldcat here. We're going to get online, go to Worldcat, and we're going to plug in our book. Be patient with my typing skills. List and returns of Connecticut men in the Revolution. Now, one thing about search engines is capitalization isn't important. You don't have to worry about capitalizing certain things, and you don't have to worry about punctuation, okay? Spelling can be iffy. Sometimes the computer's smart enough to know that I spelled Connecticut wrong, and that's where I want to go. Other times it's going to send me somewhere, and I'm going, I don't want to go here, so you got to go back and correct it. But let's go see where we go here. So we're here we are at Worldcat.
What do you do for non-COVID?
Yeah, sing and dance. List. Okay, I'm gonna go find this book. Oh, Connecticut men. I feel like we're driving to Connecticut. And the Revolution. Okay, so let's see if we can find out. That's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong. Okay, we'll try one more time, sorry. List and returns. We're there. I think we're halfway to Connecticut in the car, right? Okay, here's what Worldcat says. Here's your book. It's the most relevant one if it's the title that you typed into the search engine. But also, here's some other books that are on the same topic. So this is where I add to my OneNote list of Connecticut Revolutionary War material that I might access later. But right now, we're looking for this book right here. And so we know it was published by the Connecticut Historical Society. But where can I get it? So if I click on the book, it's going to take me to the information about the book that I might need for a citation. If I pull anything out of this book. Over here on the far right, it says I can find this copy in a library. I can also purchase that book if it's in print and it's available if I would like to buy it. First, I'm going to find out how useful it is before I buy it. So Worldcat, you're going to slip down and notice I have my zip code in there. And the zip code allows Worldcat to tell me the closest library that has this book. So it's the Filson Historical Society. That is a private library here in Louisville, and it's only 11 miles away. So I could drive over there and pull that off the shelf. Cincinnati History Library has it. It's about an hour and a half here from Louisville. But the one I really like too is Allen County Public Library. I make several trips during the year up to Allen County to research, and I make a list while I'm researching any books or material that I know are at Allen County. I put them in my OneNote under Allen County Public Library. When I get there, I can pull it up and then start pulling those books. But you're saying, Nancy, you were going to tell us about online libraries. We don't want to drive to these libraries. This is the place you want to go to start with, okay? Sometimes they'll even list if it's a Google book. They don't on here right now, but they list many, many libraries. In fact, just to show you how many libraries, notice this library is where? Germany. So they even have this book in a library over in Germany. So Worldcat is definitely a world catalog, as you can see here. So this is the first place I go. But we're going to go to the second place they told you on that Google search, and that was FamilySearch.org. So let's see if I can get there. Am I back on my PowerPoint here?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see if I can get to the slide on Family Search. I can work through PowerPoint. Okay, so here's Family Search. And it is, and I can tell you right now, you want to circle it, put a red line around it on your handout if you're looking at it, which brings up the point about handouts. You were emailed a handout when you, after you registered and you received the link to today's Zoom meeting. But you can also go to our website, KYLGS, and under the explanation of this program today, there is a link to the handout. But on the handout, you might want to put a big star next to Family Search because it is the biggest online genealogy library out there, okay? They have over 440,000 digitized genealogy, family history, and publications. For example, our Louisville Genealogical Society prints a quarterly called Lines and Bylines. The last I looked, I think there's 5 years, somewhere in the 90s, that they are on Family Search's digital book list. They're continually trying to upgrade their material and put more and more material in. So eventually, all maybe 35 years of our periodicals will be online. They probably won't go to the most recent ones, but at least 20 years should be there. But many societies have their quarterlies, their journals on Family Search under digital books. So we're going to see if we can go there, which I'm going to have the same problem, I'm sure. Hit escape. Oh, this is not good. I'm sorry I'm putting you people through this.
We're at, and you're showing us Family Search.
I know, but I wanted to go to Family Search.
You are presuming. You are presuming. Stop the share. There you go.
All right, stay right here, Howard. Don't go away. Okay, here we are at Family Search Digital Library. And if you've not been there before, you're going to go to Family Search. You're going to look at this menu bar across the top, click on search, and here's the book. It doesn't say digital, but that's what it is, the digital library. And so we're going to look for that, oh goodness, book again. I should have. All right, hopefully we're going to go find this book. Okay, so let's click on there. And there it is. It's the very first book that comes up, and it is completely digitized. And so we don't have to go to the Filson now. We don't have to go to a book and buy it. We have it right here. And so what does this tell us on this page? Well, it gives us the title. They have a database number for this book. The most important thing here is access level. Now, Family Search has different levels of access. If it is a book written prior to 1924, they have full access. It's out of copyright. If it is within copyright, which this book is, they have to have permission from the publisher or the author or both. I'm not sure of the logistics there to allow full access here. And this book is not that old, so they must, well, it's in a Connecticut Historical Society quarterly, so they must allow these to be accessed on Family Search. If you scroll down and looked at a few other books, here's one here, it says access protected. So usually what that means is you're going to have to visit a family history center, which that's where we're at right now in a Church of Latter-day Saints, and they have a library here or a family history center, and their computers have a direct portal to Salt Lake City, and I can access this book. But then there's even more stringent accesses where they'll say, you have to be in Salt Lake to pull the book to look at it. We're not, you know, you can put it in your digital catalog, but we're not allowing you to look at it. So there's different access levels. And so we're going to look at this Rolls and List of Connecticut Men. It is listed. We go into it. Here's the material you need for a citation. There are 386 pages in this book. And notice who the lending library is. This was filmed at the Midwest Genealogy Center. So they do go around to libraries. It's not just the books that are on the shelves in Salt Lake City. I'm going to come over here to view all pages. So I'm going to click on that. And notice I have to sign in. So if you are not registered with FamilySearch, you cannot access the digital books. It's a very simple process. It's free. I have done that in the past, so I just have to sign in. So again, we're going to go over here, and now it tells me we have 386 pages, and it brings the book up. And here we go. Okay, it's the Connecticut Historical Society on the first page. So let's look at what we have here. At the top on this menu bar here, we have back to the search results. If right away you look at this book, you think, no, I can go back to my search result and look at the next search find that they had. In the center is the name of the book you're on, that nice long name that I've been typing in. And then over here, previous and next results. That's to go back and forth through your search results. The menu bar you really want to use is at the bottom, down here. So this little multi-tab one, that is the thumbnails. So you can pull up all those thumbnails. And I like to do that with books sometimes because I want to get the look at the cover, the title page, and then I want to zip and see if they have an index at the back. Okay, and so then you can slide your bar down and get there. Here's to do just 2 pages, a single page. In the middle here, the little magnifying glass, that's your search engine to search within this document that we're going to do eventually. And then over here, you have your plus and minuses to make this larger so you can read it. Okay, how nice. Okay, so if we go to search, we can throw that in. And one of the family names we have out of Connecticut is Tuttle. And so I'm going to throw that name in, and let's see if we. So here's the search results over here on the left side. It shows you on this page. Also, like when you're working in digital records too, the pages in the record of the book don't correspond always with the image number. So this is saying it's on, I think, image 26. Whoops. So let me see if I can get rid of this bottom bar. That's not going to do it. But I can slide through all these, and I think it tells me I have 26 hits of the Tuttle name inside this book. So I probably want to look at this book in depth a little bit more. So this little icon, where is the download icon? I should know, right here, the little square with the arrow. You're going to learn about that little icon when you're working with digitized works. And I could download this whole book and add it to my own personal digital library. Okay, so that's the beauty of using FamilySearch. It's dedicated to genealogy. Most of them you can access, and once you can access them, you can search them and you can download them. Okay, so that's FamilySearch. So let's see if we can clear out of that. And we'll go to the next slide. After FamilySearch, if you call in our search results, it was Google Books. And let me see if I can find that slide. Okay, so Google Books. What exactly is a Google Book online library? Well, Google Books is the company Google. It's the Google company who is digitizing all these books. They say they have over 25 million books and journals and publications that they've digitized. And again, if you look at my slide, we have different levels of access with Google. Full view means it's public domain. It's probably been published prior to 1924. Preview means it could be since 1924. Let's say it's a book that was published in 1985, but the author has authorized some limited access. It allows you to look at that book online, but you cannot download it. So that's when you use your great little tool in your toolbox called the snipping tool. And you can snip those pages, and then you've got to either print them out or store them in your digital notebook. The next view is snippet view, and this is for more recent books. You can search those books for a word. For example, I could be looking for the Deck family, well, the Tuttle family in the list of the book. And if this was a book that was limited as far as access, it might show me snippets, like 1 or 2 lines in that book. And then you've got to decide, is this worth pursuing and trying to find somewhere else, or going down to the local library and pulling it? So it gives you snippets, and that's usually with the more recent books that they publish. And then Google Books also has cataloged all their digitized books that they list books in their catalog that are not even digitized. They're just going to give you the title, the author, and an opportunity to buy that book through Google. So they are in the market for purchasing. Internet Archive. Now this is probably the first total comprehensive internet or online library that you could access. Internet Archives the goal was to provide books and knowledge and make it accessible for everyone, not just those who live near institutions or live near big libraries. So somebody who lived, for example, I'm from Michigan, if you lived in the Upper Peninsula, your availability to libraries is very limited, but you could access through Internet Archive, and it makes books available. So what do they have? They have family genealogy, country histories, or county histories, I'm sorry, military histories, and they also have a collection of old journals. Now, Internet Archives also has what's called the Wayback Machine, and this is where it expands beyond books. It has other media, radio programs, archived web pages, music. If you're into that kind of thing, this is the place you want to go. I'm not into that. I really want to find a digital book. Okay, so that's how I use it. So we're going to try, be patient with me again. We're going to try to go Internet Archives. I did it. Okay, here we are. It's a learning curve for me today too. This is the homepage for Internet Archive, and up at the top it shows you all the media they have. Okay, books, film strips, audio. Where you want to go is the center page here, right in the middle. You're going to look for a search engine here, and we're going to put in, and we're going to take a break from Connecticut now. And I have been researching German research. I've been working, it's been new for me to work on German research, and I've been doing it for the last 6 to 9 months. Excuse me. And so I'm over in Pennsylvania, I'm in Berks County, and one of the things I've learned is 18th century German research means there's no census records, people. You have to use text list and church records, and then hopefully other family books that people might have written. So we're going to go look for one of the ministers from Berks County, who is a Jstor. And maybe you're researching in Pennsylvania and have seen this name, but he is a minister from the 18th century. He kept the baptisms and marriages in a booklet, and then sometime in the 1800s it was published. And we're here. I want to do the happy dance right now. Here are 3 of the same book. In fact, 4. Here's Jstor. We're going to go there a little bit later, but basically these are all from different lending libraries. Notice this is Allen County Public Library, the Library of Congress, and 2 of them, the Library of Congress. So here's the book right here, and we're going to go look and see if there's something in that book we could use. So when you pull up the book by clicking on it, it opens the book, and it's like it's sitting right on your desktop now. Okay, so we're going to ignore these little icons at the top. The menu items, it's much smaller than FamilySearch, is down here at the bottom. And so you can advance page by page. There's 77 images here. You can look at one page, both page. You can look at the thumbnail view. I found out what these little microphones meant. It will read it to you if you would like to sit and listen to this. If you're having a hard time sleeping at night, here you go, reading material that's read to you. You might find a better book to listen to. But anyways, here's plus and minuses. Those are always the important ones here to make the screen bigger. So how do I search this book? Well, you can't see on my screen, but there usually is a search window up in the upper right-hand corner. You don't want to go there. That searches the whole Internet Archive again. You want to go to this little magnifying glass on the left side. Okay, that's where you want to go. And then if you hit on, and I can't read the ellipses here, this is where you go to download this book. So it's downloadable, it's searchable. We love Internet Archive. So let's see here. This is a book that was written in, or has a collection of records from the 18th century. I'm going to put my Deck family in here again and see if I can find anything in this book related to my Deck family. And the search results is again on the left. And right away, I do my happy dance because this John Henrik Deck is one of my great-grandfathers. Now, we have baptismal records here and marriages. So they are not just records that pertain to the people who are getting baptized or the parents. We also have what's called sponsors or witnesses. And so any of those could be here, and he is listed as a sponsor. So if I just click on that little word Deck, it takes me right to the page. And I gotta kind of move it around till I find it and get out of the, there we go. And let's see if I can make this a little larger. He's up there in the corner. Oh, here he is. If we can get rid of the blue ink on there. And it's wiggling all over. But it is here. Very top. Katerina Barbara, born December 8th, 18th, 1746. Sponsors were John Henrik Deck and Anna Barbara Tiber. So there's a record right there for my ancestors. So I could snip this, I could download this book and use it to search more, put it in my own personal library. You want to remember to get your citations. That's why it's nice to download it, because then you've got it in your collection. You can go back a lot easier than getting on Internet Archive and searching for it again. And then from here, you, of course, as a true genealogist, you want to say, but is there an original record of this baptism? Where can I find that? And then you can use it as a gateway to those records. But you know it occurred in 1746 in the month of December. So this is one way you can use Internet Archive to find not only records, but gateways to records. And you could search for, there's many things. You can search using the surname of your family. You can search by putting in a location. So these people are all living in Tulpenhawken, Berks County, Pennsylvania. So I could put that in and find all the books that are related to that specific area. You could put topics in. I also found out some of my immigrant Germans here came from New York and are possibly Huguenots, which was totally new to my discovery. I had not known that before. So I've been searching and trying to read more about the Huguenots that moved to New York, immigrated to New York, and then traveled down into Pennsylvania. So that's how you can use this library here. And what you can't find in Google Books, there is some overlapping, but what you can't find in one library, search another library. It's no different than our mortar, our brick and mortar buildings. You know, one library might contain a collection of books that another library, a county away, doesn't have. So you want to try those different libraries. Okay, so we've gone to FamilySearch, we've gone to Google. We've gone to Internet Archive. I'm going to take you to another online library called HuddieTrust. Now, HuddieTrust, it's like, where in the world does that little name come from? Well, Huddie means Indian for elephant or long-term memory. Okay, they're trying to digitize and put in storage books that we can access. HuddieTrust is a digital library collection from over 60 research libraries. Now they're starting to expand. They're just not doing public libraries here. They're expanding into university and research libraries across the United States, Canada, and Europe. They're full text. Sometimes they even have full text of some publications that are not on Google Books. So there's a reason why you want to check both libraries. They're scanned and searchable. And then because they're also scanning books from different countries, they have different copyright laws. So copyrights for Canada are going to be a little bit different than Australia or the United States. So let's see if we can get you to HuddieTrust here. Gotta always figure out how to get there. It's like jumping through hoops. All right. I am hitting escape, but it's not escaping me.
We're seeing it.
All right. I get there eventually, don't I? Let me see where it's going to take you on how to trust. All right. Again, you use the search engine. This one looks pretty simple though, doesn't it? The pages are too cluttered. It's pretty straightforward. And again, remember you can search with a surname, a location, a topic. We're going to search a book here that I have seen and used on my New England families, but I do not have that book in my own library. And it is the Stevens family. And they spell Stephen both ways. So we're going to put in both spellings and see if there happens to be a book on the Stevens family. Interesting. So they bring up several books. And notice the French. So it's probably Canadian here. It's going to tell you where it's from. We'll scroll down. Here's Peter Stevens and some of his descendants. We could look at this book in full view, and then there's a catalog record, and that's going to be your citation information. But How Do You Trust is really nice too, because here's your book. It comes up. Your little toolbar is down at the bottom. This is image 7. There's 332 images. You can increase or decrease this book, make it full page. But over here on the left again, as you've seen a pattern here, the left side has usually got your search window, and it's also got the download. Notice the little icon for the download. So if this was a book, I'm going to look first, but if this was a book I wanted, I could download it again and put this one in my personal library. And I can search over here. I had a family member in the Stevens. I don't think this is the Stevens book I'm looking for, but if it is, he married a Tisdale, and she would be in this book. And I like using unusual names. If you have a common name, you really love when they marry somebody with an unusual name, so it makes it a little easier to find that. But it didn't match anything. So I don't think this book has my family in it. It's not the Stevens book I was looking for. So I would just back off and do another search. But How Do You Trust is an excellent place to go to research and look for those books that you want to put on your shelf. Every time I go back, it throws me into the collective view. Okay, so we've done the Google books we review each time here. Internet Archives we've been through now. We've been through How Do You Trust, and there's one more big one here. Howard. Yeah, I did. I'll come back to that later, but in our chaos, I did skip a couple slides at the beginning. Jstor stands for Journal Storage. And when I talked about How Do You Trust going to universities and research institutes, Jstor takes it up one more notch. Okay, this is highly academic. But when you're looking for material for 18th century on the lives of Germans, Huguenots, you want to read anything that's out there that talks about that time period. And so Jstor might be where you might find a journal, an article in a journal that you would not find anywhere else but on an online library. It was founded in 1995. It was to make these books, an easy access for everyone to access these books. What I like about Jstor is it primarily concentrates on the humanities and social sciences. And that's where genealogists get the culture, the religion, all the background for our ancestors. You do have to register, and it's free to download any articles or books from here. And what I was reading recently is it only allowed you 6 articles a month, but they're thinking of it extending it to 100. So again, at night when you're having trouble sleeping, this is another great place you could go to read. You get 100 of them. Anyways, let's go to Jstor and let's see if we can find. Oh, I didn't hit escape soon enough. See, there's a pattern to this. I have to be on there and then hit escape. Yeah, I'm getting it. By the time I'm done today, I might know how to do this. Okay, here's Jstor. You can search, browse. There's all kinds of tools you can use here, but we're going to search right here, and I'm going to search on a topic. We've looked at a location. We've looked at a surname. We're going to do German immigration in Pennsylvania. So I wonder if anybody's written any papers or articles in journals or anything pertaining to that. So we pull it up, and right away, the first journal article is German Immigration to Pennsylvania, 1709 to 1820. That's exactly what I'm looking for, okay? Now, where did this come from? This article was written in the Journal of Interdisciplinary History, volume 20, number 3 in the winter of 1990. And here it is on my laptop where I can read it. It gives you a little snippet of what it's like. What I really like about Jstor too, see over here on the right side, here's your download. You do have to register, so I can't show you how to do that. Again, it's a free registration. You can save, and I'm not sure what the difference between save and the download is, but the beautiful one here is the citation. Look at that, it creates it for you. As a genealogist, I love this, okay? And you can choose which type of citation you want to use. So I strongly recommend, if you're looking for depth to your research, Jstor is a great place to go. And as we scroll down here, here's the Pennsylvania German Society. It talks about, here's the Pennsylvania German House, and it talks about that. So there's German songs. I've heard about some of them. Parish records are about the parish or the Catholic Church in this area, which wasn't prevalent, the Lutheran Church was. And so you could read several articles and again, go up and change your search words or what you're searching for, your search terms, and find some other articles. So those are really 4 of the biggest online libraries. And let me show you a little chart here that kind of explains them. I always thought this was really nice because it's like, so what's the difference between these 4 online libraries? Well, Google Books, and this is kind of a review here, offers post, after. You know, they're in copyright, 24 books, 1924 books and periodicals digitized in libraries with full searchable and snippet views. There's the cue right there. It's not going to give you the full book. You're not going to be able to download it, but you can look at snippets and decide, do I really want to go find this book when I go up to Fort Wayne? Oh, I really think I want to buy this book. And then you can buy it, okay? So you're going to look at snippets and decide. But Google also has, like we found that list of Connecticut men in the Revolution. They had that full book that I could just read online. So if it's out of copyright, they probably have the full text. Internet Archives is an American digital library with the mission of universal access to all knowledge. It provides free public access to collections of millions of books. So it's just an expanded library with digital books and articles that are going to be, you know, it's going to overlap Google Books somewhat, but it's going to have more than things that Google doesn't have. HoneyTrust is a partnership of academic and research institutes offering a collection of millions of titles digitized from libraries around the world. And then Jstor takes it up a notch, peer-reviewed scholarly journals, as well as respected literary journals, academic monographs, research reports, and primary sources. And I'm pretty sure Jstor also has a few images too. Most of these are just books and articles. So that kind of gives you a little review of those. Now here's a site that is not a library for books, but I am very impressed with this site. And as a researcher and a genealogist, I've started writing on both Facebook and in a blog, stories about individual ancestors of mine. Now, when you're writing about a German ancestor from the 18th century, unfortunately, I have no pictures of those ancestors, okay? I have lovely pictures of many ancestors back to the Civil War, but I don't have any for those German immigrants. I don't think the camera was around yet. So What do you use? Well, I go look for images. I find images of homes, farming, clothing. You want to go find something that makes your story. And I found that when you put images into a story, people are attracted to it and they continue to read more. So pictures oftentimes or images sell your story. So you might want to look at Digital Public Library. I know Google Images is another great place to look for images too, but this one is good. You can browse by topic. And they have what's called primary source sets. Immigration is one whole category where they have nothing but images dealing with immigration. The Homestead Acts, they actually have copies of homesteading acts. They have land patents. Now, some of us are fortunate enough to find those land patents for our relatives, but if I'm talking about one I don't have one for, I like to have an example of what one looked like that my ancestor would have had. And then Pennsylvania baptismal certificates. I would take you there if our time wasn't running out. They have beautiful, that German artwork, beautiful certificates, baptismal, confirmation, gorgeous, decorated, that you could throw into an article when you're writing about an 18th century German ancestor. So go check out Digital Public Library of America. Now, this next one is also not going to produce digital books, but this is a great digital resource to enhance your genealogy. And what it does for me when I was using this to start with is it kind of confirmed my research. And you might think you have to be a member to use the DAR website, but you don't. You can to drill into some of their membership material, you do have to be a member, but to drill into their genealogy, you don't. And what you're going to do is look at applications. So for those of you who don't know about DAR or the SAR, you start with yourself, go backwards to a patriot, and you have to fill in the dates, the locations, and the relationships, and you have to have documents for every one of those. So you have to produce a pile of documents. So the material, the applications from the last 20 to 30 years for SAR and DAR are pretty solid, proven with documents. You're going to find some errors once in a while as people find more and more records, but they're pretty good. Now, SAR has old SAR Patriot applications on Ancestry, but they go back 50, 60 years ago into the early 20th century. Those are not as accurate. The proof standards were not as stringent. But if you're researching on the DAR, you can look at applications, and I've given you the pathway. You're going to look at the top of the website and click on genealogy. It's at the very top up there, and then you're going to go into the genealogy research, and you can search for an ancestor or you can search for a descendant. There's two databases here. When I was working as a registrar, and I would find some woman who'd say, I really want to join DAR, but I don't know if I have a patriot. First place I would take them is to the descendants database and say, plug in your great grandfather's name and his birth year or death year and a location. And sure enough, if he came up in their database, we knew there was an application that she could file through. Okay, so it's a great place to find out who a patriot might be. And then once you find that patriot, you can go to the Patriot Index and see all the applications that everybody has applied on that patriot. It shows you a running generation to generation. It blocks out the first three because of privacy. So if you pulled up mine for Leonard Simmons, it wouldn't show me, my parents, or my grandparents' data. But starting with my great-grandfather, Andrew Lincoln Simmons, you could see what had been proven, what was used on my application and accepted by the DAR as his birth, his death, his marriage, who he married. So it's a great way to pull digital resources to confirm or add to collateral lines. A lot of times we have our direct line, but if they're one of, like John said, 13 siblings in his wife's family, that's a lot of collateral lines if you want to extend them. And when you're working with DNA, that it's really important to extend all those lines. And so you could use the DAR and the SAR. The SAR, I'm just going to plug Joe Hardesty's presentation. It's on our website in the video storage area under the membership. If you log in and go to the LGS video presentations, you'll find Joe's presentation from a couple months ago. Down at the SAR library, they're doing some amazing things with their catalog. They're pulling books off the shelf, cataloging them, and then finding online, does FamilySearch have this book that's digitized? And if it does, they put the link. Does How They Trust have this book? They do, they put the link. So you can go to it's like a one-stop catalog. It still needs a lot of work, but it's a great direction that they're taking. And they also have a Patriot research system. That's up on their main menu bar. It's PRS. You can search for a Patriot. And they also have what's called a biography search. All their Patriots, they've asked their members to write up biographies of their Patriot, which adds, enriches. If you don't have that information, it's great to add to your own research. American Ancestors. Just want to plug our seminar. David Lambert is coming from the New England Historical Genealogical Society. He'll be here in October for our fall seminar. Their website is great if you have New England people. You can search free, but you can't access those records or digital books unless you're a member. So if you have a lot of New England ancestors, this might be a great place. But don't think it's just New England. I have found plenty of Virginia records there too. So they are more than just New England. It's a great website, but it is a subscription. I want to finish up with at the Allen County Public Library. We've also had a speaker from that library who shared a great presentation that also is in our video archives. It's the second largest genealogical collection in the US, only second to Salt Lake City, but that's a private library. This is the largest public genealogical library, right? 4 hours north of Louisville. They have free databases, digitized books, research guides. What I really admire, two things on their website, their research guides. If you go into Pathfinders, and I think I have it in your handout how to get there, and then go to states, every state has at least a 4-page, if not, I think Pennsylvania says 8-page list of books. It's a bibliography. It's a reference page, which brings us right back to the beginning. You get the list of all those books of an area that you're researching, and then you go find those books digitally so you can access them. The other thing Allen County Public Library has, and I kind of plug this, it's not really directly related to online libraries, but it's a great place to send your research as a legacy. You can go to donate, you can send your, produce off your software, a register of your family line and send it to them, and they'll add it to their online digital family resource page where everybody can access it. And so it's a place where you can have your research live on forever. They also have a family Bible section. So take your phone, scan those family Bibles, put it together in a file and send it up to Salt Lake City or to Allen County Public Library. And then everybody can use that material, that site to access it. And the other great thing they have is they have a military heritage. And they've broken down everything from the colonial wars all the way to the conflicts we're having today in Afghanistan. You can put together pictures of your military ancestors. I have my father's World War II, enlistment papers, his discharge papers. You can scan all those, put it together in a file. They put it in their military heritage page, and it can be accessed by everybody. It's living research. And people ask me all the time, what am I going to do with all my research I've spent years doing? It's like you give it away to Allen County Public Library in Fort Wayne or Salt Lake City. And then anybody all over the world can access it, and it lives on forever. You never know what great-great-grandchild of yours is going to be so pleased when they find your research in a public library or a digital library somewhere. So what are the best online libraries? FamilySearch is going to be your best one as a genealogist, but then you can't overlook the next 4. Google Books, Internet Archive, Hobby Trust, and Jstor. You want to look at all 4 of those when you're digging to enrich your research. Add to the stories. Genealogy Center, that's your website for Allen County Public Library. And then don't forget, you want to go look at those images on Digital Public Library of America. So why do you want to use online libraries? Because you can constantly work to strengthen the depth and the quality of your research. Add to the depth, add to the stories, and then find more records. The more records you have, the better the quality of your research to prove your ancestors, what they lived, what they did. So thank you. This presentation is being recorded. It will be posted on our YouTube site under the Louisville Genealogical Society, and it's on our own personal website. So that will be added in our library in a few days, whenever our tech committee puts it there. So we're gonna exit out of this, see if I can stop my share. And I don't know, can Ann Rockwell, are you out there? Can you go live with questions? Where is Ann? Anybody here have a question?
I'm here.
Hi, Ann.
Hi. I'm looking at the chat questions.
Yes.
Okay. Most people were complimenting you on all this information, but someone has asked the question, are the applications for naturalization for Indiana immigrants saved anywhere? She can't find them. She's tried Indianapolis Genealogy Society, let's see, Interlibrary Loan Archives. Anyway, couldn't find anything. So do you know?
Naturalization records for Indiana people, right?
Yes, yeah, naturalization, yes.
Yeah, well, of course, my first place would be to Google it. Maybe she's already done that. Another would be to go to her local library and ask their librarians, or call the state library and the state archives and ask if they would know. They might even have them. Has she tried the state archives, state library? Those librarians or a local genealogical society, they might know, or her state genealogical library. So those would be directions I would send her. That would be a challenge if she's looked in depth and still can't find them.
Okay. So we have another question. Well, a comment. You may have a cousin out there. Someone has been following this, and when you went to your Deck family, Jacob Kinser said that's his own line.
Well,
Yeah.
he has my email address on.
Okay.
I'll look forward to hearing from him.
Okay. And so I don't know quite what this is, but I believe it was Beth Dant, Muser. Don't forget number 3, Jen Gophers. Jen Gophers.
Oh, yes.
You know that?
It's on my handout in my chaos of getting going here at the beginning. I skipped over that. Jen Gophers is a very fun website to go to. It's really short for genealogy gophers who drill deep into the ground. It's an individual or a group of people who put together this website in partnership with FamilySearch. And what's nice is everything on that website is accessible. Unlike FamilySearch, you get to it, you find something, and then you find out it's limited access, and you got to go to a family history center. Jen Gophers, you can search, and it brings up little snippets of where they find that. For example, the Deck family, and it would bring up snippets, and then I just have to click, and it brings up the whole book or the whole article. It's a fun place to go. It's easy to use, and it's all based off of FamilySearch. So. Yeah, they need to go try it. I didn't have time to show you today.
Okay, someone is asking a question. Help me search Jstor for German immigrants in the 1800s to 1910. Did you already do that?
Well, I did I put in, she just needs to try, or they need to just try different search words to get there. Okay, German immigration, put the dates. If it's not broad enough, take the dates out and then she can sort through the articles.
And Nancy, you have been invited and requested to become a member of the Wabash Valley Genealogical Society.
All right.
So you may already be.
That sounds like over there on the Indiana-Illinois line, which my relatives, my decks eventually end up in Vermilion County, Illinois, right next to Indiana there along the Wabash. Yeah, I'll look into that.
Okay. How did you know to look for Reverend Stover notes for church records?
Well, as I've been researching church records for Berks County, I can't tell you exactly how, but that name continually, his material is out there. And if you Google Berks County church records, you're going to see his name somewhere in that search results.
Okay, and to sum up all these chat questions and comments, your presentations are always fantastic. Thank you for your help as usual.
Well, thank you for attending today. It's been fun. I've learned a lot. I'm going to go back and relearn how to do presentations on Zoom. So I've learned a lot today too, but thank you for being patient. Thank you for being here today, and check our website for our presentations next month. We have 2 great ones coming up. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
Did a good job. Okay, I'm going to exit. Thank you for coming. Oh.
I forgot this program.
Yeah.
They're still on. Because I was through.
Out there, air conditioning's really working.